back to my channel. Today we'll be continuing What If Naruto Had Cremation. Without further ado, let's get right into the video.
You are watching Shinobi LX. Enjoy.
Sorry, there's going to be no recap. Go watch the previous part. So after Naruto says what he says, Hinata, knowing that Naruto viewed that family as his own, he's kind of confused as in revenge is in how. And Naruto at that point, he does know what he doesn't even know what he's talking about, but he knows since Danzo, he thinks that Danzo s- set them up somehow, but he can't exactly explain it. But since Hinata can't get close enough to Naruto, she she doesn't understand how she's supposed to cause he was able to cool down, he was able to make it mellowed out, but it's still too hot for her to get really close to him. But yeah, she saw his hands. She saw the scars on. She saw the scabs and shit on his hands from a distance. But as he as they're talking about it, like Hinata asks him how was he gonna get revenge on someone that he never met or never knew, and Naruto was like, I don't know, but it feels like they were set up somehow. And this is after the whole after Danzo had left and stuff like that. This is everybody's left and Naruto has been given a hotel room, if that makes sense, cuz his house is destroyed now. Um he's given kind of something like a loft, if that makes sense. So he's given something like a loft up there, in the higher part of the village, where more high end people live, closer to the Hokage's office. And the Hokage, Hiruzen, immediately immediately calls in Jiraiya, when he gets back to the Hokage's office, and Danzo's telling him, what should they do about Naruto? Hiruzen turns around and was like, I can keep my mouth shut about the whole family thing that he had going on that mysteriously went missing, but we can't control a nine tail. If Naruto decides that he doesn't want to deal with this village anymore, no one can stop him from leaving. And Danzo laughed and Danzo starts laughing and was like, I can. I have the Anbu. And Hiruzen was like, do you really think the Anbu can stop the full-fledged Nine Tails blue flame that can turn someone to ash if it's hot, if he's mad enough? Do you really think that that's possible? He can lay this entire forest that our entire village is based off of into ashes. Do you really think he won't? As I said before, I can keep that whole family business, I can keep that under wraps. But you keep egging him on, and there's no guarantee that this village is going to be standing before I can actually make sure that he doesn't blow it up, he doesn't turn into ashes. And Hiruzen was like, all you have to do is give me the word and I'll have him assassinate. Not Hiruzen, subserve. Danzo was like, all you have to do is give me the word and I'll have him assassinated. And Hiruzen was like, are you kidding me? Having him assassinated would be the worst case scenario, because what if instead of him just dying outright, your assassin messes up somehow and he just decides to say fuck it and just blows up the village then? Or what if the Nine Tails takes over when he's dead and is able to have full access to his ability? And Hiruzen was like, you're not factoring in all these things. You're just sitting here trying to make yourself seem smarter. Get out of my sight. And Danzo starts laughing and it was like you're panicking. And as Danzo leaves, Haruzen calls in an Anbu member that works directly underneath him and have no connection to Danzo, and he tells him, "Go find Jiraiya." And the Anbu member disappears, and like yeah he disappears, and a couple of days later, the Anbu member appeared. Like the Anbu member jumps out of a tree in front of Jiraiya, and Jiraiya was like, "Oh, it's been a minute since I didn't see one of you." And I'm gonna say it's like an old friend of Jiraiya's, like a very old friend. And the Anbu member was like, "Yeah, he summoned you." Something about Naruto. And Jiraiya gets this really serious look, and he was like, "What's wrong?" And the Anbu member was like, the person starts scratching the Anbu member starts scratching their head and was like, "I can't really tell you, out in the open, but it's something that he wants to tell you himself. So you kind of have to come back to the village." And Jiraiya was like, "Okay, but what's wrong with Naruto?" And the Yambo member was like, it's a pretty interesting story. So after like Jiraiya, my bad, I had to take care of something. So after Jiraiya, after Jiraiya finishes up what he needed to do, which he was basically already finishing, he to act like as they're headed back to the village, he keeps asking his old friend, "What's wrong with Naruto? What's wrong with Naruto? What's wrong with Naruto?" The Yambu member has just not answered him, and he just like they just keep saying we need to move. So when they get back to the village, like Jiraiya immediately starts looking for Naruto, and the Yambu member tells him that he needs to go see Hiruzen immediately. So Jiraiya grits his teeth and he goes and he finds Hiruzen and he opens the door to the Hokage's office and he's like, "Where's Naruto? What's wrong with Naruto?" And Hiruzen was like, "Calm down. It's nothing's wrong with Naruto. There's just a situation brewing with him." And as Hiruzen fills him in, Naruto is sitting in class and he sees like a bunch of like not Ambu members, but a whole bunch of like Jonin and stuff, like in front of the schoolyard. Like yeah, in front of the schoolyard. So he sees like these Jonin. They're not high. Some of them are high level, like Guy and Kakashi are out there, but there's also like just a whole bunch of low ranking like cannon fodder shinobi. So he's not really too worried until he starts realizing that they're really starting to gain in mass, and a lot of them keep looking up into the room that he's in. So he tells Hinata that if anything's to happen, try to get as many people as far away from here as possible. Mainly because if the Nine Tails, like if Naruto gets mad enough and the Nine Tails is able to escape or will lash out, he doesn't want anyone unnecessary to get burned. He just wants the people that are targeting him to get burned. And he doesn't think he'll be able to convince or talk to the Nine Tails or control it. So Hinata was like, "Why? What's happening?" And she looks outside and she sees all the Jonin and Kakashi notices this. So he tells them to he asks them again why they all here. And Guy tells him that we got a mission to look after Naruto. And Kakashi was like, "All of you got that same mission?" And Guy was like, "Come on, Kakashi, you don't think I would lie to you?" And Guy was the only one out of all of them telling the truth. The rest of them were there from Danzo's instructions to either capture or kill Naruto. So most of them were just agreeing because they all met up with Guy because Guy said Danzo told Guy that he was gonna have a team. So After the bell rings and Naruto starts leaving the school, Naruto's like he starts walking through the Anbu members. I'm not Anbu members, through the Jonin, and they wanted to make it seem like Naruto just killed them outright for no reason. So like one of the like Jonin like released like a small little Danzo had made a device that could remimic Naruto's fire ability, but it's not as hot and it doesn't burn as bright as Naruto's. So when it goes off, Hinata noticing that that didn't come from Naruto, she immediately starts trying to move like people like Sasuke, like their classmates and everybody around Naruto at the time to get out of his way. And Sasuke pushes Hinata off of him and he stays and he wants to look at like what's so big and bad about Naruto's fire ability. So like the Jonin kind of like bursts into flames and one of the guys uses the water style to put him out. And Kakashi and Guy noticing that Naruto didn't move an inch, one of the Jonins pull out a kunai and was like, "See, he's dangerous. We need to kill him now." And Naruto was like, "I didn't do anything," and he keeps walking. And one of the Jonin, like the guy that pulled out the kunai, rushes after Naruto, and Guy was like, "Come on, you don't want to do this. I was designed to protect and assist Naruto if anything like this ever popped up. Come on, man. You don't want to go down this road with me." And Kakashi Kakashi tells Naruto that he should head home. And Naruto looks back at him and was like, "That's what I was planning on doing." But as Naruto says that, another voice in the background was like, "That won't be necessary." And Kakashi kind of like freezes up a little bit because the last time he heard that voice, it wasn't like he hasn't heard that voice in a long time. So they like Naruto looks over and he sees this man with a whole bunch of gray hair and he kind of looks weird. And Jiraiya was like, "I'll take it from here." And Jiraiya was like, "If you guys still think you can kill Naruto with a Sannin protecting him, I'd like to see you try." And Jiraiya grabs Naruto's shoulder, but Naruto like, tells him to get off of him. And Naruto and Jiraiya was like, "Whoa, whoa, what's wrong with all of this anger? Like, where's all this coming from?" And he tells Jiraiya that no one's allowed to touch him unless he gives the permission. And Jiraiya was like, "I, what happened?" And as like he says that, Naruto looks at him and was like you would care. You're just another paid person. And he was like, "Anyway, I guess since he paid another helpless soul a Sannin this time, wow, upper, it's a big thing, because people that are normally Sannin level, they don't get the ranking of Sannin. They just become Anbu members. But somehow you're different. Come on, let's go home." And like Naruto's walking throughout the town, and Jiraiya's calling Naruto's name, and Naruto's like, "Come on, let's just go home, family member, family." And when they get into the house, Naruto's like, "Oh my god, why do they keep assigning people to me?" And Jiraiya calls Naruto's name again, and Naruto's like, "What?" And Jiraiya was like, "I didn't get assigned to you. I'm not getting paid for this." And Naruto's like, "Sure, sure, let's go with that." And Jiraiya, like Naruto walks past Jiraiya, and Jiraiya grabs Naruto and was like, "You don't understand what I'm trying to say here. I knew who your actual like. I know, I know what's been happening to you, Naruto. I didn't get assigned to you. I'm your father's master. I'm your godfather, or whatever he was supposed to be. I don't quite remember off the top of my head. The whole like little tree thing." And Naruto kind of like stops and he sinks his head. And Naruto, Jiraiya like goes on to tell him that he was off during a mission. And Naruto, after Naruto hears that, he was like, "So instead of coming back to the village, you insisted on continuing the mission after getting the news that your pupil and his wife has died and they left their child after the Nine Tails attack. You insisted on continuing the mission when I needed someone there. When my baby self needed someone there for me, you weren't. I had a family. I was happy. Sure, they might have all been Anbu, but I was happy. They're all dead now. Those lives are wasted because you wanted to continue a mission that probably wasn't even relevant at the time. You know that, right? People that I would have never even known that I could care about wouldn't be dead if it wasn't for you. They wouldn't be dead. And Jiraiya tries to tell Naruto that he's sorry and he's here now. And Naruto like pushes away from him and he like his flame starts like Naruto kind of like starts bursting into flames almost like sort of like around his head and everything. And he's like, "You can't tell me that you're here now because it doesn't help. You weren't here then, and I don't want you to be here now. I'll deal with it on my own. Leave my house." And Jiraiya like tries to act like Jiraiya's like, "Naruto, calm down." And Naruto's like, "Get out!" And Jiraiya starts walking toward the door. And he opens the door and he's like, I'm gonna be in the village for a little while. Let me know if you need to talk. And as he says that, Naruto yells at him again to leave. And like as he leaves, Naruto so after he leaves, he sees another like Hinata starts walking like Hinata and Sasuke are walking up to Naruto's house. Seeing Jiraiya leave in such a panic made Hinata kind of hesitant to bring Sasuke there, given the fact that Sasuke is like an edge lord, and Naruto just lost like everything, and Sasuke didn't. She didn't want Sasuke to say something stupid and then get turned to fucking ashes on the spot. So she tells Sasuke that he should probably go home, and Sasuke was like, "So you dragged me all the way here just to tell me to leave?" And Hinata turns around and was like, just to be clear, you wanted to come and I didn't drag you anywhere. But I don't want you to get turned to ashes, so I'd advise you leave now so that way you don't." And Sasuke was like, "Yeah, whatever." And he walks away and he's mad because he really wanted to see what the great and strong Naruto would become. Like what he would be doing right now. And Hinata, noticing that the door is still kind of cracked open, she pushes like she pushes open the door. They were heading like up, like they went through the elevator thing already. That's where they saw Jiraiya coming. Like Jiraiya got off like the little elevator thingy and was walking away, and that's when Hinata, got that idea. So Hinata opens the door, like she pushes open the door, and Naruto is like in the middle of the room, not like in flames, but like sparks, basically. And he's just standing there. And Hinata, like, she doesn't want to go because she can feel the heat in the room. She doesn't want to get too close to Naruto because she knows that she can get burned very easily if she got too close too quickly. But she also doesn't want Naruto to look like the way he is. Like right now, he looks like he looks like the day that he figured out, the day that he found out that his like that family died, like his family died. That's what he looks like now, but worse because well now he know that all that could have been avoided. He would have never met them if Jiraiya would have just came back. So like as this is like going through his head, he's not even paying attention to what's in front of him. He doesn't see Hinata. Like his eyes are open, but he doesn't see her. And the Nine Tails is just trying to egg this rage and like this pent up aggression that Naruto didn't even know he really had until now. So when Hinata finally gets up the courage to get close to Naruto, she she shoves him a little bit. And when she shoves him, Naruto can like Naruto like kind of like snaps back. And Hinata was like, "Hey, you okay?" And Naruto looks at her and was like, "I'm fine." And like he balls up his fist, and she was like, I was gonna bring Sasuke over, and Naruto was like, "You should leave." And Hinata like was like, "Naruto, why are you saying that? We're friends." And Naruto was like, "You shouldn't be friends with someone that can kill you on purpose or by accident, or even by you just being collateral. You shouldn't want to be friends with me. You should just leave. When you see me in school, don't bother talking to me." And she kind of like, she gets, emotional and she leaves. And Naruto, like, he closes his eye, like, he sits down, he crosses his legs and he closes his eyes. And for like the rest of that month, Naruto hasn't left his house and he hasn't went to school. Obviously, he didn't leave the house. So come like that month, all throughout that month, Hinata has been being ridiculed and beaten by her family, specifically her dad, because her dad, I'm gonna say, was abusive. Yeah, her dad was abusive in this story specifically. So, and Neji didn't care enough to say anything about it. So when Naruto finally leaves, when Naruto finally leaves the house, he starts like he's just walking through the town, and a lot of people not seeing Naruto for like an entire month thought he was dead, and turns out he's alive, and that's why his hair is long right now because Naruto normally gets his hair cut by an old friend, but that friend is now dead, obviously. So as he's walking through the town, he decides that he's gonna walk through the Hyuga clan, but like halfway through the Hyuga clan, he realizes that Hinata isn't his friend anymore. But as he's passing Hinata's house, he sees her in the front yard, like kind of like in like a little training area in the front of the house, being um well, being he called it training, but it was basically just him abusing her. So Naruto, like he was finna run over there and help her, but then he remembers that that's not his friend anymore. But as he walks away, he hears like a faint like Naruto, because that was the only person in her mind that she felt as if like can save her from things like this, because Naruto was the only person that actually saved her from something like that twice, from Neji and those bullies. So Naruto, without even knowing it, he accessed just a little bit of the Nine Tails power to stop her father. And when Hinata was expecting to get well hit, she didn't. And she looks up, and Naruto is sitting on top of her father with his entire left hand engulfed in flame. And Naruto looks back and was like, why? And he looks back at the dad and was like, why would you sit here and abuse your own daughter like she's not your own flesh and blood? And her dad was like, stay in your own place. These are Hyuga clan matters. You don't need to be here. You can just walk away now, and nothing we there won't be a problem. And Naruto was like, you know, I don't think I should. In fact, I think I could just kill you to let you know. And his left hand gets closer to his like to her dad, to let you know what happens to people that hurt my friends. And Hinata hearing this, she's kind of happy that Naruto just called her friend, but like she doesn't know how to react because that is her dad. She still loves him, but he doesn't know how to what's the name? Like he's not changing. He's just been getting worse since Naruto hasn't he's just been getting worse. So Hinata stops Naruto, and Naruto like gets mad because Hinata stopped him. So after Hinata stops him, her dad was like, I'll make a deal with you, Naruto. If you can beat Neji in a fight, you can have her. I don't need her. I could just make another one. And that makes Naruto even madder because keep in mind, Naruto doesn't have a family. He never has. Well, he did, but the only family that he knew died. So Naruto turns back around, and as he gets up and he's dusting himself off and he's like over cocky, Naruto literally bursts into flames and was like, the fact that you can sit here and talk about your daughter like she isn't your daughter is amazing to me. Maybe you need some redirection. Maybe I need to take your pretty little face and turn half of it into a smoldering pile of ash on the floor. And her dad kind of like stumbles back and was like, you wouldn't, even if you could. I'm a part of the I'm the head of the Hyuga clan. There's nothing that you can do to me that won't, in the eyes of the, after you do something to me, in the eyes of the public, you're still gonna be a monster. Even if you tell them what I've done, they'll never see you as a hero. And you know this, don't you? And Naruto was like, so in this match, is killing out of the question? And her dad, being as cocky as ever, was like, it doesn't matter because he's gonna win. So I guess it doesn't have to be. There can be killing. Because after all, there's plenty of people over here that can become Jinchuriki. She can become a Jinchuriki. Referring as into Hinata. And Naruto like balls up his hand again, and this time since he's already like since he had his little episode, like his hands, like his fists start glowing again, and he was like, the fact that you would put your own daughter through this pain, you know, okay, when will it be? And he was like, tomorrow. You can make this a grand spectacle. Let them know that the great Naruto, the Nine Tails, isn't nothing to be worried about in the eyes of the Hyuga clan as long as they're around. So come the next day, all you hear like throughout the village is like the fight, like that's all everyone's ever talking about. So Sasuke, like knowing that Neji's pretty strong or decently strong, and he's supposed like since he's supposedly a prodigy, he wants to go and see the fight and see how Naruto does. A lot of people from Naruto's class are going to go see the fight, and Naruto was like, if I win this fight, like in the stage, like in the arena, like before the match even begins, he turns and he looks at the crowd and he was like, if I win this fight, everything that Hinata's father has ever done to Hinata has to come out today. Because as a little kid, she should not have to go through this. And Hinata's father, still being cocky, he says, yeah, whatever, just go on with the fight. So this could be over with already. And Neji, being Neji, he's still talking about talent and shit like that. And he's quote unquote gotten stronger since the last time Naruto fought him or sneak attacked him. So he's telling Naruto no more cheap tricks, nothing like that's ever gonna work on me again. And Naruto looks at him and was like, I'm gonna burn you to a crisp, and then I'm gonna take Hinata, and we're gonna leave this village. And Jiraiya is at the fight. And after like when the fight starts, as soon as like he says begin, Neji like starts running toward Naruto and just like trying to evade his punch, like his hits. But Naruto immediately realizing that Neji thrives in up close combat. So if he just used his ability, this could all be over quickly. But he also wants Neji to know how inferior he is to Naruto. So Naruto like remembers everything because he knows that the Nine Tails power can be accessed by anger and sadness and rage. So he remembers like what he saw, what like Neji into like everything that happens between Neji, Hinata, and their father, and Hinata's father. So she gets like Naruto gets mad and he like guides Neji's hand away from Naruto, like away from him, and he grabs Neji by the neck and he puts it like he slams him into the dirt. And a lot of people are surprised because like for the first 3 minutes of the fight, Naruto was literally getting pushed back. And Naruto was like, surrender, or this is gonna be very painful. And Neji was like, do your worst. And this is where I'm gonna end this part off. If y'all enjoy the video, leave a like. If y'all enjoy my content, please subscribe. Anyway, this has been Shinobi, and peace out.